and it's the plague on our community, the black community, and why there's such a disconnect with, investing.
I brought up a quote from Fab: when you make money in your sleep, that's when your sheets feel nice.
The struggles that we went through just coming up as growing up as a kid, if you didn't have those struggles, what type of ground would you have right now?
So I saw a good quote the other day saying that you want to learn now before you get that money, so when you actually have it, you know exactly what to do.
If you struggle with understanding finance and don't want to be tricked in some Forex scheme, here's a couple of fellas that understand what it means to be financially literate. Let's tap in.
Brandon Clay, owner of Peach State Basketball, Brandon Clay Scouting. I also have a financial asset firm. Put a lot of time and effort into it, 65, 70-hour week study and doing research. A lot of different ways to build, a lot of different ways to grow. Can't wait to share some of that with y'all today.
Sir, yes sir.
So my name is Tevin Holiday. I'm actually an online parallel entrepreneur. So I'm pretty big in e-commerce. So I'm excited to share a little bit about what I know from my journey.
My name is Izzy Sam. I work in full-time in finance analyst. On the side, I do fitness. I just fucked up.
You good, bro.
My name is Izzy Sam. I work in finance, full-time financial analyst. And on the side, I'm a personal trainer, and I work on fitness. So just talking about investing and how I build my brand.
Oh, my name is Dominic Jones. Y'all probably already know me. Age 25. I work as an account manager in logistics. I got a bunch of endeavors creatively that I'm working on right now, as far as one-on-ones Atlanta, Jay's Liquor Store. Co-host of Cause We're in Our 20s podcast, man, just keeping it going. But that's not why we're here today. Today we're here to talk about, the success that we all have seen in all of our roles that we played in life already. And with that success comes knowledge, and that knowledge you need to give back to the people so they can understand how to get to where you are. And it's a disconnect there, but we'll get into that later. So let me hear how y'all relate success and financial literacy and why they relate.
I think one of the best quotes that I've seen from Warren Buffett is, the stock market. And the stock market here can be the parallel to business, companies, any type of finance. It takes money from the impatient and it gives it to the patient. If you want to come out and get rich tomorrow, or you want to come out and get rich in a week, you're going to make mistakes because you're in a rush, as opposed to letting it happen organically and allowing yourself the time and the ability to watch your account go red, to watch an event not grow, to watch an e-commerce idea you think is going to take off, and you're like, yo, this is it.
Right.
And then it's not it, right? You listen to people that are in the music industry and they all thought that they had that single hit. They were walking out of the studio like, this is the number one,
right.
And then it wasn't the number one.
Right.
And it was another song they thought was good that ends up becoming the number one.
Mm-hmm.
So not trying to time the market, not trying to find the top of the market or the bottom of the market, but just being honest and open with yourself that you're trying to grow and turn your brand into, turn your firm into, turn this 5,000 into 10,000, but don't put a time frame or time limit on it. It might happen tomorrow, it might happen 6 months from now, it might happen 6 years from now, but just finding a due diligence and a patience that allows you to become great. And I think that if you can do that, whether it's football, whether it's being a lawyer, whether it's schooling, whatever that is, that translates directly to your financial assets. Do your research, believe in what you see, and then go from there.
Exactly. So on top of what Brandon just said, I know your question was pretty much how does financial literacy and success tie into each other? So money, as we understand our society, puts money kind of up here.
Yeah.
So, money isn't everything, but it's pretty much just a tool.
Right.
So it does open up a lot of doors for you and whatnot. So I'm not too big on as far as being the richest person ever, as far as wanting a Lamborghini. I just want to live a comfortable life.
Right.
And be able to have like as much time as possible and freedom. Yeah. So that's really what it is. It's just like really a tool. You just got to kind of figure out how to use your money to like make more money and stuff like that. Right. So it does tie into success, like whatever you do as far as if you're going viral. You can figure out a way to monetize it and whatnot. So, money is not the most important thing, but it's definitely important because you have, the way our society is set up. So you might as well get as much as you can.
Yeah, so kind of based off of what they said, the way I look at it is it's like, how do you measure success? So some people might look at success as like being the richest man in the world. Some people just want to be comfortable. I look at success as just doing like what you want to do and enjoying your life. And making money off of it too, because at the end of the day, success, money is gonna tie into it somewhat, some way. Yeah. So like B. Clay said with the stock market, I think everybody can attest to this. We looking at it on the long term. Like with money, you want to build financial literacy and just build your income daily at a long term. So it's not a get rich quick scheme like he said. You kind of just want to take steps towards it every day, be 1% better every day towards what you're doing, and do what you love. We live in an industry where a lot of people working 9 to 5, doing a job that they don't like. But then with the other hours of the day, you could find something that you enjoy, find a niche, and work towards it. And at that time, you can monetize it, and even if it's $1, $2, over time that can grow, and you're doing something you love. And then at the end of the day, you might be able to quit that 9 to 5 and then do something that you actually enjoy doing and make money off of it. So.
The way I, look at success and financial literacy is just like everything plays a hand in itself. Like everything is just a bigger version of the other thing. So having success is you're gonna have to do something for a long time, and you may not see nothing from it from the beginning. Like you could be doing it for a year. They tell you that like the 5-year plan. If you can't do it for 5 years, don't do it because it's not for you. You're too weak for it. And it's the same thing with financial literacy. It's hard when you first start looking at it. When you first start looking at it, you're gonna be like, man, dang, this don't work. Right. But when you stay into it and you keep talking to your friends about it, having discussions like this about it, then it becomes apparent to yourself like these go hand in hand. How did he get here so quickly? Like, oh, he paid attention to what his dad was talking about. All his friends, and he started putting himself in position to become. Just grow, and that's how his business took off. That's how his success. That's how he found all this time now. So it all ties into itself. That's how I think they correlate so much because anybody that's successful knows about finances. Like you could talk to other people who went broke, like when they got mad success at a young age, even football, whatever. I bet you the best thing I tell you right now, they wish they was financially literate and they could understand what was going on to their money rather than just throwing it away. Right. So that's just how I look at them relating. It's just us paying attention more to what's actually going on around us. I think we don't. I think a lot of people want success, but don't even understand that financial literacy is a part of that as well, because you can have all the success in the world, but you may not have nothing without that part. You know what I'm saying? Right. It could all go away. So
if you don't mind, like you made a good point as far as people who, actually got the money and really didn't have any idea what to do and they're losing it and whatnot. So I saw a good quote the other day saying that like you want to learn it now before you get that money, so when you actually have it, you know exactly what to do. So
everything is in preparation for what's coming next.
Right.
I hope that's how you live your life, because you shouldn't be looking at the past. You should be looking at what's coming next, and that's just how it is.
Right.
But with all that going, man, I just want to hear some of y'all's stories, like the road that you've taken in your finances to better your finances, and what you value the most as far as like investing, multiple sources of income, what y'all got going and what y'all been through, like, because a lot of people can give back more telling their story rather than somebody else.
So I graduated from Georgia Southern and immediately got into the basketball business. We help kids that want to play at the next level. We put thousands and thousands of kids in school, scholarships, the whole deal. Y'all know something. We've been in the streets, man, so it's been great. And as a result, now there's not find a college coach in the country that we can't call, we can't get a call back from. And a lot of that has to do, again, with the patience and the willingness to take no, and no, I'm not coming to your event. No, I'm not coming to your camp. No, we're not buying your service. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. And gradually one person's yes becomes another person's yes who previously said no. And learning how not to burn bridges in the process. I think, fellas, you know, you get in your feelings. It's like you ask a girl out, she's like, nah. And you want to say something slick, like, yo, I'm nice. And instead it's like, yo, you know what, I understand completely. And all of a sudden she's available 6 months later. And now you go on a date. Like, if you haven't been through that, you'll go through that. Or you know somebody who does, right? And I think just taking that same approach to the business model that I've had for all these years, where there's just a patience aspect, right? That has allowed us to survive COVID. You know, I think for 99.9% of Americans, 2020 was maybe the hardest financial year of your adult life. It was just different. Like, no matter how you structured it, if you were getting commissions on things, your base might have been the same, but the commissions got knocked, something got knocked along the way. And I think it made a lot of people wake up and really think about financial literacy. Okay, how do we do that? And I think listening to Jay, you know, one of my favorite artists of all time, you go back to 444, I bought every V12 engine. I wish I could take it back to the beginning. I could have bought a place in Dumbo before it was Dumbo for like $2 million. Next thing you know, it's $25 million. Guess how I'm feeling? And you know, I think you really start to think about those types of things in moments like that. It's like, okay, I'm grateful that I bought all these cool things and these assets and all this stuff. And if you play them right, you buy the right stuff, they're assets. You look at the resale value now on sneakers, you were able to get the Fear of Gods, or you were able to get the Travis Scotts, even close to retail. That's an asset. You're just selling it now, right? So the game has changed. So I think
but it's about being smart, though.
Yeah, the old heads talked to us about that we're depreciating. You know, I bought a home in a place that will be undisclosed, and my house is worth significantly more now than it was when I purchased it. That's an asset. But I think having the patience to understand the difference in the two is really, really important. I think that's what 2020 kind of taught us is, hey, if you can start to invest now and you make investing the bottom of your pyramid the most important thing. You base what type of house you're going to get on how much you can invest. So I have $2,000. I want to invest $600 a month. That leaves me with $1,400. I would take less of a home. I would take less of a townhome, less of an apartment in order to keep investing the $600. Because it's the power of compound interest. There's something special about compound interest. When you watch that start to accumulate, I'll leave you with this on this thought. If I have a child, I'm going to have an account for my child. I'm going to show my child that account when they turn 15. I'm going to tell my child they can't have the money in this current account until they can match it dollar for dollar. There's not an age. If they can figure out how to match it dollar for dollar at 19, they can have it, because it means they've learned the power of compound interest. If it takes them until 42, they get it at 42. But that's how you teach people the power of compound interest, is you let them see the statement. Here's this money and here's what it's done.
I'm going to catch that.
50 shares of Apple in 2000 would have become 100 on a 2-to-1 split in 04. There was another split in 08, would have made it 200. 7-to-1 split in 2014, that would have made it 1,400. And on this last 4-to-1 split, it'd be worth 5,600 shares off of 50 shares 20 years ago. That's the power of compound interest and patience. And we don't teach our kids those types of things. That's the thing. And you start talking about building your foundation on compound interest.
Let's leave that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. We'll get to that part.
So that was real, Jim. Do you want to say the question for me one more time?
So like the role you took to better your finances. What's your story and how you were able to win, and what do you value the most as far as, like, you know, investing in multiple sources of income?
Right. So graduated in 2017 from Kennesaw State, and I was lucky enough to get a job. It wasn't immediately, so it was a lot of hard work. Good salary for first time out. I just knew there was kind of a little bit more out there. I knew I was spending a lot of time in this, and I just knew if I had, like, you know, if I put the same amount of time in my other skills, something would, you know, flourish from that. So I kind of took the initiative to, you know, I started my clothing line back in like 2015 while I was in school. And, you know, learned a lot from there. It wasn't the most successful clothing line and whatnot, but just kept, like, taking the L's as far as we could say. Not necessarily failures, but, you know, turning those L's to lessons and whatnot. Just learn from there. And, you know, I found the power of online business. So just being able to make money while you sleep. And that's literally, like, the most important thing. You have to, like, separate or understand the importance of making money while you're not actively doing something.
Right.
So, I was pretty hip to like the brands and whatnot. So, I just tried a couple of brands. So, like I said, taking a lot of losses and whatnot. It's just when I finally, found that one thing that really hit. And just being able to, know what to do next as far as that. I've luckily enough been blessed to have like parents who kind of set me up in a good position, tell me a little bit more about financial literacy. And I'm very blessed because not everybody has that situation.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much just my situation, is getting into a situation knowing that, my freedom is like the most important thing. So he's talking about investing. It's super important to invest in money. It's also super important to invest your time too as well.
Right.
And if you allocate your time to the right things, you're definitely going to be seeing your fruits.
100%.
Yeah, just to kind of pick up on what he just said, investing your time, time is money. So kind of my story, I came up, always had the mindset where I got to make it to a professional, I got to go pro football. So I'm waking up 4 a.m, boom, I got to get to this, I got to work out, I got to get my body right, I got to practice, I got to watch film, yada, yada, yada. Through high school, I got my scholarship, went to college at Kennesaw State, played football there, I had a great year there, great years there, and then did my pro day, ended up getting hurt, and then at that point, I didn't end up where I wanted to be. So I could have sulked and I could have just said, man, it's not for me, and then I wouldn't have anything else to do at that point. But that same mindset that I had with football, waking up early, staying out late, just working hard towards my goals, I took that into the work field. I ended up getting a job in finance, and they started me at the bottom of the barrel. Everybody around me was making more money than me. People that I knew, my mindset and my work ethic was better than me. I was better than them, but they were making more money than me. I could have just took that and just stayed at the bottom, but no, I was showing up to work early, staying late, working harder than everybody else, and I was just building my way up. But then at the same time, I'm working a 9 to 5, and I'm making decent money at this point after working towards it. I'm making decent money, but finance. I enjoy finance. I love my job. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I love fitness and I love working out. I love motivating. I love making people just transform their body. So at the same time, it's why can't I do both? So I'm spending my time. I work my 9 to 5, and after that, I go online, work my fitness page. Work on meal plans, talk to people, use social media as a tool just to build my profile. I started doing that around the time of quarantine. And at first, I might make a couple dollars a week, maybe sometimes $50, something like that. But as time goes, that money adds up. You know what I'm saying? So, and at the same time, I got the money that I need to pay my bills, but I'm doing something that I love on the side, and that's helping me get money too. And then we go into the stock market. That's something I grew up with the mindset that you work your job and then pay your bills, and whatever money you got left, you can just throw that in a savings account, and then that might build up. After a year, you got $5, $6.
Right.
Nah, so investing, you put your money in a good company and you can watch that money grow. That's kind of like making money in your sleep. Yeah. And at the same time, so you're investing in good companies and you got people around you that you could talk to. You got to have people that have that same mindset, that are on the same thing as you. Y'all can talk about stocks, y'all can talk about financial literacy and just trying to build as a person. So I think you got to have those conversations, have the right people around you that's going to build that aspect of your life to be better. And last thing, just on the multiple sources of income. So, like I said, I have my full-time job, and then now I'm doing fitness on the side, and that page is just growing daily. Social media being a big tool that's helping that page grow. And then on top of that, my dad is a big handyman, so he works with cars and everything. So I'm using my social media presence to go out and I can post the cars up, and he can sell the cars with the social media. So that's another source of income. So it's just something that it's like a family business at this point, just multiple sources of income, and I think that's a big thing.
That was good. Man, leverage, position, and structure, man. Leverage, position, and structure. Those are valuable to me. That's one of the major things that's going to get you somewhere to the point where you don't have to lift a finger to make money anymore. You got the leverage, you can move anywhere. You can do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you have those things in those markets, you're good. Multiple sources of income. Right now, I work with Jay's Liquor Store, co-owner of Jay's Liquor Store, run that store, gotta keep that going. One-on-ones, Atlanta, investing in stocks. What was my last one?
That's how you know you got too many streams,
Got
man.
too much coming in.
Too many streams. I can't even remember the last one right now. But man, all of those things that I just named, man, I failed miserably at when I first started at. And one of the best things I love to do is marketing. Y'all asked them how much stuff do I post, and it's just like I try to post so much.
Social media.
Sometimes, bro, it's hit. Sometimes it's whack, bro. And I get that. I know it for sure. But one thing, I'm not afraid of that. And that's the same thing that I carry with the finance. I'm learning. I want to learn. And that's the one thing that I know that you're going to do for the rest of your life. And I hope you continue to do that for the rest of your life. So when Clay hit me and he said, yo, I got this new, yo, you should look, I'm listening. I'm all ears. If it could better help me and he believes in it,
Student of the game.
I trust in what he believes in. I'm listening.
Right.
So that's the most valuable tool I can give you, is to just learn and listen to people, especially people that have done something and made something of themselves. I'm gonna listen to them every time they hit my phone. Like, what? I'm sorry, my bad. Every time they hit my phone, I'm listening, man. So that's the biggest tip I can give you. I felt horribly, and this when I started listening, and like I told you, knowledge is priceless, man. Knowledge is priceless. People don't gotta give you knowledge. You don't, them books, you can go to college. Everybody back went to college, how much did that teach you? How much did that teach you?
I couldn't tell you.
It's not real life. Real life application is meeting people, talking to people, and connecting, and understanding what they went through, and how you don't need to go through what they went through, and how you trying to get to where they at.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing for me to tell y'all. So if you was in any type of business and you wanted to set it up and position yourself and have the best structure and leverage possible, figure out who's winning in your business right now.
Right. Exactly.
Figure out whose finances are good right now. Whose finances are good right now. Like, hey man, how'd you get it like that? How's your stocks look like that, man? Come on. When did you invest and how did you invest and what do you not do and what do you do? Take notes. Bring the pen and paper in.
Super.
Every time. So that's the biggest thing I can give you about, finances and life in general. That's my tip, that's my advice. My story is I failed miserably at everything I've done. If you see me succeed, I have failed at it at one point. 100%. I got new clothing line on the way. It's gonna be success. It's already written. I've been through too much failure, bro. I know what to do. I know which way I gotta hit this one. Alright, so anyway, man, so like this is what we're gonna talk about. So I talk about a lot of failure. Let's talk about what y'all wish y'all would have went back and you could do differently with your finances and business and whatever you would do. How would you go back and do it differently?
Honestly, I think there's not a single thing that I wish I would have done differently because I wouldn't have taken the loss to learn. Now, I say that, I think there are some times where people are screaming at you in life, do this, do this, do this, and then you're hard-headed and you don't do it.
Right.
I can't imagine being there. I haven't had that moment where I had somebody older who had been successful in an area, hey man, don't do that, do this instead, and then I didn't do it. That would be something I would change, but I haven't had that moment. So even with my family and the people around me, I never had somebody screaming at me, hey man, make investing the foundation of your life and then build around that. I didn't have that. So I think that's the thing, honestly, for me. If you ask me what I could do differently, I would say nothing. But then the second part to that is for the next generation behind us, even for us now, is not too late to make investing the foundation of your livelihood. Everything is based around investing time, money, but it's all about investment. So I think, that answer being twofold. And then if you take for what we did business-wise, just learning how no's become yeses over time. Not taking that so personally. So that's something that if I could go back and do again, just from a business standpoint, not being so personally hurt as if, I get now why they didn't want to. This thing has no track record. He's brand new in the business. I'm dealing with so-and-so over here who's been in the game for 10 plus years. Nah, bro, I don't want to pay for that right now. Figure it out. And just not being so personally hurt by that. It didn't keep me necessarily from taking the next step, but I definitely was discouraged where maybe I was a little slow to act on some things because of the previous no's. So that would be something if I could go back and do it again. I was really fortunate, man. I used the capital and money that came my way really wisely. Some real estate stuff, was in some stock stuff, not as heavy as I am now, but I didn't understand the power of compound interest until I saw the power of compound interest. I do wish somebody had told me about the kind of compound interest earlier. I would have come out swinging. But it's been good. I think using social media as a tool is hit that on the head. Doing that right now. We're the first generation of social media boomers, so to speak.
Right.
If you're between 20 and 40, you're the first generation of people that have phones with unlimited data. You can call anybody you want, anywhere in the world, at any time. You can FaceTime. Like, people before that didn't even know what that was. So when you see people right now on the CNBCs, on the Fox News, on the different news channels, the Bloombergs, so much of what they talk about investing is, well, put your money in Home Depot and Goldman Sachs. And there's nothing wrong with that. I look at those as the modern day mutual funds.
Right.
What mutual funds used to be 1 to 2%. I don't really want 1 to 2%, but if you want 1 to 2%, take your money to Home Depot, Goldman. That stuff is secure. Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, Kroger, all those big bank joints that don't really move, but they don't go the wrong way. Take your money there. Let that be the bottom of your investing portfolio. And I think that's the new age way. When you hear people talk about mutual funds, let me find a quality ETF that's proven, it has a track record. Nike, Starbucks, those things make money, right? Like, those are mutual funds. They're not nearly as aggressive in valuation as the Tesla might be in NIO out of China. Like, I know the hot names. So let me diversify though. Let me protect some of my money in smaller mutual fund type deals. Let me use YouTube to my advantage. Let me post videos like this about what I'm going through directly, how I'm trying to diversify. Bitcoin, I get it, it's fantastic. One of my favorite Jim Cramer quotes from CNBC, like, Jim Cramer's an older dude, but I feel like he gets it. Let it come home to you. It's very rare that it runs in the middle of a run and just runs forever. Right. At some point, like Tesla before the split in August, got all the way up to 2,500 a share. After the split, it ran to 532, but it came back home to you at 300. That's a good time to go ahead and get in. So if you're watching stuff run right now, Tesla's up to almost 900 a share, and you're like, it's probably going to come back to 650 or 7. Have your money ready, get it in, and then watch it run again, right? Run, reset, patience.
Get you
buy in, catch the run. So, if you ask me what I see in terms of what I would do again, that's really it. And then that's the advice that I would pass on to the next group of people coming alongside of us and then behind us, is patience is key, and play this thing for the long game.
Yeah, facts.
Right. So just on top of what he said, obviously that stock market is super, super important. I hope you keep hitting on that, because that's obviously something that, like, us as people, we haven't really been introduced to. But we'll speak on that a little bit later, I'm assuming. So I want to just talk about just finding that mentor, finding that one person, like you said, find that one person that's doing well in your business. Don't be scared to reach out to them, because they've been in your position before, so they kind of want to help you out.
And people love to talk about themselves.
Exactly.
They'll definitely tell you about what they got going on.
Exactly.
If you ask them the right way too.
Exactly. Like, if you show them value, so you don't have to necessarily pay them money for the answer. Like, they can monetize their knowledge, but just think about it. Like, if they're asking for 3-figure, 4-figure number for their knowledge, and they're making 7 figures, 6 figures, you gotta think that's a crazy return. So that's an investment right there. So just make sure you keep investing in your knowledge. So that's really what I gotta say. Find that mentor. I kind of wish I just had somebody instead of trying to do it myself, taking all those L's and stuff. Because it's gonna cost you. They can they don't necessarily have to tell you what exactly you have to do, but they can definitely tell you what not to do. So I wish I would have had that person in my life earlier.
So kind of trying to piggyback on what they said. Really, I wouldn't change much about my life. I feel like everybody on this table, we started from the bottom pretty much. We got to work our ways up. So a lot of lessons that I learned growing up, I feel like if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, I appreciate everything that's happened to me up to this point. And something that I always say to myself, it kind of sounds crazy, is F but don't F. So what that means is you could fail, but don't fold. So anytime you fail, use that as a stepping stone just to build up and get better and get better. I got told no with football, going to the league. I got told no, I could have folded, so I worked my whole life for that. But football's not the only way to be successful. It's financial literacy, that's investing, it's all the stuff that we're talking about right now. So F but don't F. You could fail but don't fold. So that's something that I always went by. And then, like he said, finding a mentor or finding a group of like-minded people that have those conversations. Really talking to those people, trying to work off each other, build off each other, and just be better. So when I think about it, I wouldn't change anything about my life, about how I came up. But yeah, I wish I started at an earlier time using YouTube as a tool, using Instagram, using social media in general, instead of just posting like a picture trying to get some likes from some females. That's whatever. But the biggest thing, like, I'm posting this because I wanna make y'all look into this. I wanna promote this. I wanna promote my friends' business, my people's business. I wanna get that outreach. I wanna build my following. Because at the end of the day, if one person's watching, somebody's watching. And then the more people you get just to buy in, that's just how you keep growing. So, I mean, really, I wouldn't change how I came up, but knowing what I know now, you got to get towards that investing, using social media. You got to have those conversations with the like-minded people, and you got to keep the people around you. I mean, the people around you reflect you, so you got to keep those people around you that's going to work hard, try to be better every single day, and then you're going to look in the end, you're just a lot better person overall. So, yeah.
Alright. I think the biggest thing I wish that I could go back, I wish I wouldn't have listened to people who haven't done shit like completely. Like, I wish I could go back and all the words from people and everything else, comments and anything else, I wish I would have completely never listened to anything they said, because they ain't do shit. So, and then the other thing is,
Hey, that's facts though. That's facts.
I wish I would have thought that a job was going to save me. I think that a lot of us always think, oh, when I get this job, or when I get this raise, when I get this, when I get that, it's supposed to save me. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you don't have a mindset in investing and make sure that those structures are set up, or just because you hit a certain goal with your money doesn't mean it's going to be there forever. Life continues to go on, inflation goes on, everything is happening around you. So, I wish my mind was just more about figuring out how I was going to be good until, forever, how generational wealth is going to occur for myself and not just now. I want to talk to y'all about one of the biggest things that, isn't spoken on a lot enough, and it's the plague on our community, the Black community, and why there's such a disconnect with, investing, long-term stocks, all of these different things with finance in our community, and why it doesn't happen as much. And what are some of those ways to fix that?
I got a couple thoughts on that. It was funny, we were actually off air a minute ago kind of talking about the same thing, and I brought up a quote from Fab: when you make money in your sleep, that's when your sheets feel nice. And I think we haven't had that opportunity, but you look back generationally, there were shows as recently as like 1980 where Black people were in the ghetto in the show. Like, that was the whole premise of the show. Good Times was literally getting out of the ghetto. When is the last time that you've seen white people trying to get out of the ghetto in a show?
Right.
That's not how the story's been portrayed, right? You've seen generational wealth come from families. Like, you talk, so-and-so dropped out of school, so-and-so, they had $2 million in seed money already. Like, that's different. Mm-hmm. So for us, you look at, I said LeBron, talk about Jay, you talk about so many different people. And even still, like, those are people who have fractured in any relationships with their fathers. Like, a lot of financial wealth in communities comes from the dad passing it on to the son. Right. We haven't had that collectively. We're just now at a point as a community where you're having two-parent households. Mm-hmm. Or if there is a fracture in the mother and the father's still very much in the picture, helping, being a part of. Like, now all of a sudden, it's cool in rap songs. If you buy yourself product, get your baby product too. Like, what are you doing? If you're gonna do something for yourself, do that for your child. And we haven't always had that type of vertical integration amongst families. So I think that being able to really roll with that and understand that is so important. And you talk about the private school transformation where kids have the opportunity to go to private schools, whole families, and it's legacies and it's third generation. At this, I'm not about private high schools, not even private colleges, where it's just an expectation. You understand the power and things that happen financially because you've been around other people in those similar situations. Right. And it's not even about what car you drive. It's not about that in those moments of power. It's transferring the knowledge, and you can get to that in a minute. What we do is we chase the bag. Mm-hmm. We chase the transfer of the stuff. I see Kendall Jenner with this bag. I want that bag. I see Blake Griffin with this off-white belt. I want that belt. I see Ben Simmons with this Maserati, and I want that Maserati. You take all your money from your job and you go and you buy those things, as opposed to taking the money from your job or your skill set, letting the compound interest over time buy you those things. Right. We rush to go buy it for that satisfaction, and honestly, to impress people that don't even care about us.
Facts.
That's real.
That's real.
No, that's just on top of what you said as far as the transfer of knowledge. There's a lot of communities out there as far as our white peers, Asian peers, Indian peers who their parents transferred the business, so they can be graduating out of college while we struggling, stressing out every single day like what job am I about to get. They just they started out their position for their uncle and whatnot. So I think that's something that we got to do. You can't necessarily pass on a job once you pass away or give it away to your kids or whatnot. And just transfer knowledge as far as like our people, just our peers. If you run into something, run into a way to make some money, you gotta, can't be selfish as far as sharing. Mm-hmm. So he made a good point as far as chasing the bag. We can't be like on Instagram seeing what other people are doing, comparing ourselves. Like, they got that new car. You can't be stressed out, and once you do get that money, you can't just you don't know their situation. Right. You don't know their situation, so
yeah, kind of like off of what they said, chasing the bag. You see a lot of stuff on Instagram, and I'll tell you right now, 95% of Instagram is a flex. People will rent a car just to make it look good on Instagram, rent some clothes to make it look good on Instagram. So chasing the bag, that's gonna get you left in the dirt every single time. So on top of that, I think in our community, we all come from neighborhoods where like our mindset, we just got to do whatever we can just to make it out of that neighborhood. So you trying to be the next LeBron James, you trying to make those great grades to be a doctor, et cetera, et cetera. So that's like kind of what our parents thought is you got to grind just to make it out of the neighborhood, but they don't really know the stepping stones of how to make it out. And investing is a big part of it because our generation, we're like the first generation of the black community really doing this because our parents didn't know. I remember just a year ago, I'm teaching my parents about the stock market because all their life they've been working their job, working extra hours, working overtime, throwing that into a savings account, and making a couple dollars, maybe $20, $30 a year with that savings account. And I said, take some of that money, put it in the stock market, let's invest in a couple good companies, see where your returns come. In the month, they made way more money than they ever made in that savings account. They're like, okay, yeah, this is what we got to be doing. Right. So I'm like, so really what we got to do as a community, we got to have conversations like this. You got to be around these like-minded people. You got to communicate this. And then when we're the ones having kids, we can spread this on to them. And so we could just build our brand pretty much as a black community. And I just think just overall, like our parents, not like they didn't want us to know, just they didn't know the information. So us being the first generation, let's do that. Let's spread that knowledge to each other.
Man, I think the biggest thing is that the conversation around finance isn't cool enough. It's just not cool enough. There's people that are watching this video right now that'll see the clip or whatever, and they'll turn away from it. They losers. Those people are losers. And what's the quote with Jay-Z? That's life, winners and losers. And the winners will pay attention to the things that are going on around them. And at the same time, in our community, I can't fault somebody that never had nothing for wanting to go and spend their money on something that they never had. Because I speak right now from a privileged, position in life. So I can't speak on somebody that never had nothing and say, hey, go invest in stocks. But if it's spoken about enough, it'll trickle down and they'll know after I buy this, at some point, I gotta get to stocks. It has to happen for me and my families at some point because it's spoken about so much now, and I think it has changed. I think it changed a lot. I think a lot has changed. I think the COVID has made a lot of people sit back and look at
open your eyes, man.
Like, how are we gonna get money and we ain't got nothing? The jobs, they fired us. We got the 2 weeks left of paid, whatever, what is it called?
The PPP for the businesses,
what I'm saying.
Unemployment, all that stuff.
He made a good point as far as like how much money the businesses are getting versus just regular people. So
hey man, COVID really taught you how to hustle. Yeah. So throughout this whole time, bro, you either folded or you learned a new niche or you started using your niche to make money, do something.
And it's tough.
Really, like the government, you can't wait on the government or beg the government to help you out if you're not gonna help yourself.
They don't care.
And that's a loser. People that wait on people to help them out, ain't nothing happening for you. That's one thing. that in our community we always preach somebody coming to save. No one coming to save you, bro.
Yo, you got the A.
The stimulus
Right.
ain't
That stimulus ain't gonna save you.
gonna save
No,
you.
ain't gonna save you.
But the saviors are the people that's talking to like us now. I'm not a savior.
It's
no
huge,
point.
but it's huge. It sparks the conversation. Change comes with conversation, right?
Right.
Shouts to the WNBA players that started talking about Raphael Warnock. They sparked the conversation.
Yeah.
He was running at 9% when they sparked the conversation.
Yeah.
He ran a little bit more than 9%.
Yeah.
And I think when you start to look at, I was talking with my shooter, Tony Lugardo, I call him Udonis Haslam. You have to really respect people who got through 2020. It was a master class in hustle. And I took that, and he said that, and I felt that. And I think you listen to Lil Baby, who had, to me, the album of the year, invest a couple million, let my money work for me. Oof. We haven't been there collectively as a culture, especially not our younger rappers, right? You get Jay-Z, but then Lonzo Ball says he don't want to listen to Jay-Z at 440. Y'all, Lonzo, this just in, you're a millionaire.
Right.
You probably should listen to Hope.
Facts.
I bought some artwork for $1 million. Next thing you know, it's worth $2 million. In a minute, it's gonna be worth $8 million. I can't wait to give that to my children. He's trying to tell us how to do it, but I think it's hard sometimes when people are so far removed that you don't see them as yourself. So Baby is still right there in the trenches, so to speak. So to hear him say that to me on that album was huge. Like, this guy's talking about investing. Okay, like now all of a sudden the kids in that age group, they've at least heard it.
Yeah.
You've heard of Robin Hood.
Right.
You've heard of the different ways to transfer wealth. And then just the patience
Having those
to really dig
conversations.
in. But it starts with these conversations. College is no longer, for most of us, are you going to go?
Right.
And now is the standard flag bearer. And that's even in minority communities, even as community college. Yo, where are you going to go? Are you going to study tech ed? But it's taken us 40 years of freedom. Like, schools were still segregated. My parents sat upstairs at the movie theater. My dad went to a segregated high school.
Right.
Desegregation, like, is not even that far removed when you think about where we've come as a people to the point where we now can be billionaires in multiple product categories. Let's take that a step further and make this generation the one to pass it on to the next in terms of how to live with the markets.
And I'll say one more thing, and at the same time, when I say we at fault, we can't wait for nobody to save us. There are, evil things out there that are happening to our people. It's only right now that we've had the technology to be able to be where we are. We didn't have social media, YouTube. We can't learn as fast as we couldn't see what people game they was on before. All we could do was watch them live and be like, how did they get that?
Right.
And now we can sit there and watch them do a social media video, a video that we posted up, something like that. That didn't exist for my parents. That didn't exist for them to say and sit there and watch. I just watched the video on YouTube. Now let me go kick game and tell them what I know. Because that's how it spreads. They're gonna spread something they see. People hear Stephen A. say something on First Take and they talk about it like they made that shit up themselves. But that's just the thing about it, man. I mean, I think that we've been put in a position to only just grow because we've been struggling for so long, and I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But now's the time. We don't have no more excuses of like, I can't. Man, you go Robin and put $2 in some account right now.
Just watch it grow.
That's what I'm saying.
You could buy an IO for about $7 back in the day. That's trading over $60 right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man. You can't tell me you can't invest nothing. Man, you got $5 in your pocket? Come on, put it in.
But really, man, one thing that 2020 really taught me, bro, behind every struggle is a blessing. Like, that year, for a lot of people, if not everybody, 2020 was one of the hardest years of their life. But at the same time, learned so much in 2020. I'm working from home, so I'm over here studying the stock market. I'm putting into my business with personal training. I'm looking at my boys, seeing what they're doing. We having these conversations about investing. I'm thinking about all these different sources of income I could have. Like, wait, if I lose my job today, what am I gonna do? These are conversations that we might have never had if COVID didn't happen, and we didn't get into this struggle. So I think behind every struggle is a blessing for sure. Cause like, who knows who'd be in here talking right now if COVID didn't happen last year? So ain't no telling. So like, I think you really just gotta think God puts you through these things for a reason. We are in this position for a reason. The work that we put in right now is for a reason. The struggles that we went through just coming up as growing up as a kid, if you ain't had those struggles, what type of ground would you have right now? Wake up every morning with a mindset, work towards it on a daily basis.
That's a good point.
Yes, sir.
I got a final thought. One of my favorite Nip lines. I rock with Dr. Sebi because he's teaching health. I rock with Rick Ross because he's teaching wealth. When we start to have our celebrities and our public figures start to talk about how to transfer the power of wealth, and that's what we're seeing right now. You're watching LeBron James get ownership of Blaze Pizza, and it's read about. It's easy to see. There's a great Kevin Durant article with his business partner Rich Kleiman some years ago, and they talked about investing in 50 plus startups. For KD, investing in 50 plus startups is 50,000 a piece, 60,000 a piece. That one of them becomes Airbnb, one of them becomes Regeneron, one of the Google artists, if you don't know what these stocks are trading for, they're getting those shares at a fraction of what it becomes. If we can do that responsibly, you take $100 of your check every week, every other week, and you invest in some of these smaller SPACs that are connected to DraftKings. You could have gotten into DraftKings earlier in the year through a SPAC at $11 or $12. DraftKings is trading over 50. Penn Gaming, everybody listens to Barstool right now. That's greater. You invested in Penn. Because if you watch Barstool, you should be invested in Penn. Why are you not? And I think these are the connected dot moments, D, that we're starting to have as a community. And it all goes back to our leaders, which for us are still celebrities and people in that space. They're starting to really educate us. Just be attentive to what's being put out there. There's a ton of great information. Use it to your advantage.
100%.
And with all that being said, I don't want to come off as like somebody who got it all together. I don't. But every day I'm learning. And that's all you can do. I don't expect nobody to be perfect. You won't ever put your stock. Sometimes you lose. That's the game.
You're gonna lose.
You lose.
You'll see red on that screen. You will see red.
I was just gonna say, you keep going after this, but like you're gonna lose. Like you're literally gonna fail.
You're gonna lose.
But the goal is to win way more than you fail. Then you lose and minimize those losses. Maximize the wins and minimize the losses.
Keep that same mindset through it all. Don't get out. Don't quit. It's not that.
Right.
People, I told you, it's for the people that's gonna hold it and then they go through it.
Patience.
And then, we actually just talked about this in the stock market the other day, and I kind of related to life. There's gonna be days where the stock market is down and your account's looking red, but you don't want to look at the day to day. You gotta look at it week, months, year. You gotta see like, hey, as long as it's gonna go down, it's gonna go up, blah blah blah. As long as at the long term, it's doing this. Because you could have had that $100 in your savings account. $1 a year later, like, what's that gonna do?
What I tell you?
Hey, outcome is income.
Hey, right?
I told you that's the day you just delete the app.
That is.
You just gotta move it all the way out.
Facts. Long-term investing though, man, that's the biggest thing, man. You can't try to, it's no get rich quick scheme, there's no Forex, ain't no, I'll give you $100, you give me back $1,000. Nah, bro, it's long-term. Build that income and spread it down to your family, man.
Ask questions, man. A closed mouth don't get fed.
Facts, man.
Look, man.
Ain't no such thing as a stupid question either.
I appreciate y'all fellas for coming over here today.
Appreciate you, man.
Conversation, man.
Sir.
Y'all dropped some gems. They dropped free games.
$3.99.
Did you song? Did you song?
Shout out to y'all if y'all listen to this, man. I don't know, y'all got any tags y'all want people to go check out?
Hey, make sure y'all check me out. I'm looking at the camera for this. No, Brandon Clay PSB, Brandon Clay Lifestyle. We talk obviously about finances are big, but just what we're doing day to day in business, life, music, fashion. As y'all can tell, I'm a real music guy. I really believe that there's so much of that translates into real life. And I'm just glad to be here. I'm learning too. I'm trying to get good at this thing. I ain't playing no games. Feel free to hit me in the DM. So,
Sir.
I'm gonna go ahead and do my shameless plug. My name is Tevin Holiday. Follow me at noig.tev on Instagram. I really don't have too many posts up there, but 2021 is one of my biggest goals is to reach out a little bit more, network a little bit more. So I will be posting a lot more content and just show you a little bit daily of what I do. I'm one of the rare people that really want to see you win, so definitely tap in with me. Like you said, hit my DMs. Definitely follow these guys too as well.
Izzy Sam 25. So my Instagram is SamTwizzy5. That's SamTwizzy5. I got a fitness page that's Young Is Fitness. This is family right here, man. I just love having conversations like this. I love to see my people win. So, man, y'all just hit me up. You need a personal trainer, you need meal plans, whatever you need, man, I got you. So, SamTwizzy5. Yes, sir.
Man. At Prince Jones 06, man, hit me up.